Buenos días, queridos alumnos de CELA Spanish School Online. Our theme today is for students who are beginning to learn Spanish. We will conjugate our first verb, the verb ser, to be, and we will explain personal pronouns in Spanish. This video also exists in Spanish for intermediate level students who wish to refresh the information. In our courses, we always teach the verb ser first. It is an irregular verb. However, it is very useful for communication. We use it in Spanish to talk about characteristics. If we combine it with some adjectives, we can make our own phrases in Spanish from the beginning. Let's conjugate together the verb ser, to be, in the present. There is also another verb in Spanish that means to be, estar. But we will explain this later. In this table, we have space for the personal pronoun and the corresponding verbal form. The first person singular is yo soy. Then we have tú eres. Él, ella, usted, es. In Spanish, in the third person, we have usted. You, formal. Usted is for speaking to persons that we treat formally. We do not have it. We use ella and él also for things and animals. As you can see in the table, we have only one verbal form for yo and tú. Since this is so, and the verbal form already contains the information about the subject of the sentence, we usually do not use the personal pronoun in the sentence. This is why I say soy profesora and not yo soy profesora. ¿Eres español? And not tú eres español. We only use yo and tú if we need to emphasize. In English, it is impossible to make a sentence without using I. This is why many people who speak English and learn Spanish use yo too often in sentences. This sounds very strange to listeners. In Spanish, yo is redundant, since in the verbal form soy, the information about the person doing the action is clear. Whenever we have a single verbal form for a pronoun, we omit it in the sentence, unless we want to emphasize. However, in the third grammatical person, the situation is very different. Here, we have three possibilities for a single verbal form. El, to talk about a masculine singular person, animal, or thing. Ella, to talk about a feminine singular person, animal, or thing. And usted, to speak to a person that we treat formally. as we have a single verbal form for 3 people, we must always clarify who the subject is and always use the corresponding pronoun to avoid misunderstandings. In the plural, the first person is nosotros or nosotras. Nosotros is for masculine or mixed group, and nosotras only for feminine. For example, me and my daughter are nosotras, and me and my brother are nosotros. Nosotros somos. The same applies to vosotros. Vosotros is the plural of tú, and it is used only in Spain. It is to talk to several people that we treat informally. In Latin America, we use ustedes to talk to people in the plural formally and informally. Vosotros is for masculine and mixed, and vosotras only for feminine. Vosotros sois. In the third person plural, we have again 3 options. Ellos, for the plural masculine of people, animals, or things, or mixed masculine and feminine. Ellas, for the plural of feminine persons, animals, or things. And ustedes, for talk to people in the plural that we treat formally in Spain and formally and informally in Latin America. As here there are also 3 possibilities for a single verbal form, it is necessary to always clarify who is the subject of the sentence. In sentences with nosotros and vosotros, we usually omit the pronoun, since by the verbal form we know who is the subject of the sentence and the use of the pronoun is redundant. Ellos, ellas, ustedes son. Now let's see some examples and repeat some important information. Soy suizo. Here the pronoun is not necessary, since in soy it is already included the information about the subject. We would only use yo if we wanted to emphasize that I am the Swiss person and not my friend, for example. Eres danés. We do not use the pronoun because eres is already giving us information about who is the subject of the sentence. Somos estudiantes. Here too, the subject of the sentence is clear because for nosotros there is only one verbal form. The same happens with vosotras. Sois españolas. We only use the pronoun if there are several possibilities for the same verbal form, or if we want to emphasize the subject. If there is only one possibility for a verbal form, we omit the personal pronoun. We use tú and vosotros for people with whom we have confidence and informal treatment. and usted and ustedes with people we treat with respect. When to use tú and when to use usted with someone is a question a bit difficult to answer. Customs are different in some places. In general, Hispanics are more informal and treat people with confidence more easily. Normally, people offer us the informal treatment. We have in Spanish the verb tutear, which is to treat with tú. Nos tuteamos. Podemos tutearnos. But there is no verb like ustedear. It is tratarse de usted. As we mentioned before, vosotros and vosotras is used only in Spain. In Latin America, we use ustedes for the formal and informal treatment in the plural. In some countries like Argentina, tú is not used. They use vos instead. Vos had its own verbal form. It is sos instead of eres. Vos sos instead of tú eres. As in the third person there are several possibilities, we always have to mention the subject of the sentence. This can be a person, an animal, or a thing. For example, Juan es colombiano. El vino es italiano. Juan y María son argentinos. If the plural is composed of masculine and feminine, the masculine prevails. Las vacas son argentinas. Now let's make some examples together. We will answer questions with ser. Sometimes the person changes in the answer. For example, if the question is with tú, the answer is with yo. ¿Eres de España? No, soy de Argentina. ¿Ustedes son colombianos? Sí, somos colombianos. Somos de Barranquilla. ¿De dónde es Helga? Helga es alemana. In the third person, we must always indicate the subject since there are three possibilities. ¿De dónde son ustedes? Somos argentinos, de la Patagonia. ¿De dónde sois? Somos de España, de Madrid. Juan y Manuel son chilenos. No, ellos son paraguayos. Muy bien. This has been our lesson today. I hope everything has been clear so far. I invite you to visit our website and say goodbye. Hasta la próxima clase.